The Cheating Death Podcast is a comedy, random, and truth-seeking podcast containing information, subject matter, language, and course material that may not be suitable for all listeners. Your discretion in this matter is advised. This is a me and you podcast, not a red versus blue. If you have questions, email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. On today's episode of the Cheating Death Podcast, we dive into the conspiracy that isn't a conspiracy. Yes, we are talking about the Tulsa Massacre in 1921 that took place over the course of an approximate 48-hour period between the 31st of May and the 1st of June 1921. Understand, dear listener, we're also going to provide you with a new top 5 list and an all-new Annihilation Announcement and joke of the episode as well. So grab your coffee, your blanket, and put your feet up, and let us tell you how to cheat death. This is your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. We look to the past as a way to learn for the future, but more often than not, if a certain segment of history does not fit an administration's rhetoric or their mission statement, we often find that it is swept under the rug like last week's cheesies. Note this, dear listener, that the horrific atrocities that occurred in Tulsa in 1921 need not be repeated. There were absolutely no reasons for it to take place, yet a bunch of jealous, insignificant, insecure white people decided to take their anger out instead of doing the work themselves to be better people. There is no excuse. There will never be one. And remember, there is no excuse for racism. This has been your news anchor, the Cleric of Chaos, and this is your Annihilation Announcement. Willkommen, meine Freunde. Guten Morgen, guten Tage, und gute Nacht ist deine Reisende und deine Ausländer und deine Allesfresser. Deine Cleric of Chaos. Today we are diving into a conspiracy that is not a conspiracy. It is a true series of events that took place on the 31st of May, 1921 and the 1st of June, 1921 in the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, specifically the Greenwood District. Now, dear listeners, throughout the course of your educational path, in your history classes, in your electives in college and university, were you ever taught about the Tulsa Massacre? Were you ever made aware that there was indeed a beautiful, blossoming community growing in Tulsa, Oklahoma until the jealousy and the envy of the white people in whom were jealous, envious, miserable, that for some reason they didn't have as much money as their African American counterparts? Well, I'm here to tell you today, dear listeners, that this is no conspiracy. This is a travesty that took place on the 31st of May and the 1st of June, 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It has been widely speculated that one of the reasons why the massacre took place was due to the very significant level of jealousy that their white counterparts had when seeing just how successful the African American delegation was at the time. There is no reason, no excuse for the behaviors that were perpetuated during those times. None whatsoever. There is a litany of history that has been lost due to the nature and to the acts of those in whom are too afraid or too ashamed to shed light on the topic. So, us being the podcast that we are, we're going to break it down for you in a couple of minutes, just so you can have yourself a nice little idea as to how fucked up this whole situation was. The Attacks began on the 31st of May, 1921, with firebombings, assault rifles, handheld weapons, breaking businesses, destroying communities, murdering, assaulting, kidnapping, pillaging, raping. Just about any atrocity that you could think of to be committed from one human being to another was committed during this time. The 31st of May and the 1st of June 1921 led to an unrealistic level of venom being spewed towards the Black community, all because they were successful. All because the Black community had ring through everything and they had figured it out, but yet their white counterparts were not in any way, shape, or form happy about it, due to the notion of it being 1921, there being a significantly high level of racism still abundant in those times, but the racism isn't even the most alarming aspect of the situation. No, it's the lethargy, the laziness, the scapegoating that the white members of this district decided to engage in that make it the most horrific and the most absurd. Because when you put that into motion and you get a bunch of people riled up to a radical degree, the horrific starts to become a nightmare, a veritable living catastrophe. There is no excuse for what happened in 1921. The official count of 39 dead, 26 Black people, 13 white people, but there have been numerous reports and numerous statistics over the years that state the dead could be upwards of 300 plus people, which admittedly sounds like the more realistic figure given all the damage, given all the destruction, and given all the chaos that took place during this time. The reality of the insufficient security levels within these attackers rings true, because there are so many people in whom do not understand the weight of their actions until the actions have been put forth, or they selectively choose not to understand the weight of their actions. How the Tulsa Massacre took place is inexcusable. Why it took place, there is no legitimate reason why. There is absolutely no fundamental reason that you could explain to me or anyone at this program to justify what happened, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of any particular plight that may have taken place. The answer was not destruction. The answer was not complete and utter annihilation. It was community. Learn if you need to learn something that you are not good at. Hey, if your business isn't doing so well, why don't you just ask somebody for help? Or why don't you just check in with some of your community to see what they're doing that might be a bit different than you? There is no excuse for racism. There is no excuse for the types of atrocities that took place on the 31st of May and the 1st of June in 1921. And hopefully, at this point in time, the year of our Lord 2025, we have at least figured it out enough in North America to never let anything this horrible happen ever again. What was your first exposure to the Tulsa Massacre? Let us know at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. We promised you a list of our top 5 favorite breakfast foods at the top of the program, so let's dive right in. Coming in at number 5, we have the sausage McMuffin. Coming in at number 4, we have the breakfast burrito. Coming in at number 3, we have the good old-fashioned sausage and egg and cheese McGriddle. Coming in at number 2, we have scrambled eggs with bacon, sausage, and hash browns made at home. And coming in at number 1, we have steak and eggs. What are your top 5 favorite breakfast foods? Email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. Today's joke is brought to you by the Cleric of Chaos. Recently, a friend told me that his family is a lot like a software update, that whenever they pop up, he says, "Not now." The events that took place on the 31st of May and the 1st of June 1921 in the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma are so reprehensible that many textbooks and history lessons leave it out, regrettably so, because they're leaving out an important and an imperative part of American history, a part that a lot of white Republicans choose to completely ignore. And this is not something that can be accepted. It cannot be tolerated, and it will not be accepted or tolerated by the members of this program, by the host, by the director, by the producers, any of our consultants. It is 100% a shameful, absolutely disgusting and disturbing revelation, but one that should still be taught so we avoid making the same mistakes that certain members of government and certain members of the population seem to make over and over again. Racism is not acceptable, and nor is it even a decent excuse for anything in life. I don't care if you grew up with certain values. Once you hit a certain age, the onus is on you to make the change and to understand that the world is a much different place than what you were told. Thank you for tuning in today. Take care of yourselves and each other. The Cheating Death Podcast is brought to you by Nach dem Leben CRDVC, Chaos Realm Records, and CR Deutschland. We are available on all major podcasting platforms. If you'd like to support the program, you may do so at the links in the episode's description below. Please follow all of our friends of the program at the links in the episodes of the description as well. And please follow the program at twitter.com/weallcheatdeath and twitter.com/Cleric of Chaos, and email us at thecheatingdeathpodcast@gmail.com. If you or anyone you know is experiencing psychiatric duress, have them call 1-800-273-8255 or dial 988 from your mobile phone in the US or Canada. If anyone you know is experiencing domestic violence, have them call 1-800-799-7233. And if you're looking at adopting a playful puppy or a cute kitten, please visit your local animal adoption rescue center. Remember, dear listener, there is no replacement for the beauty that dwells within your soul. You must look in the mirror and see the beauty that shines before you. And remember, we're pulling for you. We're all in this together.